Hey, hi friends, welcome back to Azure CI/CD pipeline session 4. So here we have to create the Azure CI/CD pipeline to build the image and to push the image to the Azure container registry. Okay, so it is the Azure DevOps CI/CD pipeline. We have to use the classic editor here and make sure before using the classic editor that should be enabled, otherwise you can't see the classic editor to use the Azure pipeline. So in that case you have to go organization settings, then you have to select the pipeline settings. Okay, in the pipeline settings you can see the by default the classic editor. Okay, it should be on, but like you can say the disable option would be enabled. Okay, so make sure that would be uh, disabled so that classic editor would be enabled. Okay, so that is already unchecked, that is already disabled. Okay, I mean the option is unchecked, it means the classic editor is enabled. And before build the image and push the image to the content registry, make sure we have to create the container registry here. So I earlier the container registry, so I deleted that. Now we have to create the new one. Okay, so let me create the new container registry here. We have to select the subscription name and the resource group name, and as per your naming convention you can define the registry name here. And make sure the registry name would be valid and that is not exist. Okay, so you have to check accordingly and you have to give the name. The networking and encryption tagging we can make it as it is, don't need to change anything. Now let me create the content registry. The validation has been passed, so it means it will be deployed the content registry. The request has been submitted to deploy to create the content registry. So failed to submit deployment. It's not the, I think it is not just a warning as my internet is slow. Okay, because otherwise the deployment should be failed. But now you can see the deployment is in progress, so it will not fail. That is the minor error. Okay, so the content registry has been created. And now we have to check the repository here. If you see in the container registry there is no any repository. Okay, because we have to build the image and we have to push the image to our container. Okay, and while push the image we have to define the repository name, so that repository name will be created here. Okay, so classic editor is enabled as well as the release is enabled. Okay, so you will able to see classic editor here. Okay, while creating the pipeline, also you can see the release option is available because that option we have to enable it. Okay, so now let me go to the classic editor here. We have to select the source as the uh, the Azure repository. Okay, so let me click on continue. Because our all the files are already present inside the repository, right? So my source should be Azure repo. Okay, and let me select and let me create the empty job here. So first of all I select the source is the Azure repo, then I select the empty job. Here you have to select the agent pool as a Azure pipeline, and we have to select the Ubuntu latest one. Okay, and here you have to say we selected the Docker to build and to push the image. Okay, and let me configure it. Here the no content registry is found because we have to select Azure content registry, then we have to authorize it using our credential, the email ID and the password. So let me enter my Azure credential here. So if you're doing it for the first time also, it will ask you to enter the email ID and the password here. So let me enter my credential here. So after sometimes the container registry would be automatic populated here. So let me select again the service principal and let me try to check here. Still it's showing the no registries found. So let me just double check why it's not coming. Generally, once get authenticated, it will auto-populate automatic. As my internet is a little bit slow, so it's taking a long time to populate the container registry here. So don't worry, let me check it again. But in your case, it would be so automatic, okay? Because my internet is slow here, so it's not coming. Let me close it and let me try to reopen it. Okay, let me try to authenticate again. Let me click on new and let me select the service principal. Still it's not coming. Let me check why it's not coming. Generally the access key is it is not required because it generally it required while applying the container on the top of the Azure web app. It is not required. I'm just did it. I just did it, but still it's not coming. Okay, so that is not related to the access key. It is only related to my internet is little bit slow. Okay, so now you can see it came automatic. Okay, so as my internet is little bit slow, so it took some time to auto populated the content registry name here. Now I'm giving the service connection name and make sure like whatever the access key I can, enable for the content registry, that is not related to this, right? Because it was not auto populating because my internet was little bit slow. So after some time the content registry got auto populated in the service connection. Okay, now you have to give the repo name, like what is the repo name you want to define, so that while pushing the image to the container registry, this repo would be created inside the container registry. So let me give the name like the repo Linux web app, and the build context would be uh, you know system default directory. So let me mention dollar in the bracket. We have to mention system dot default dot working directory here, and this tag it will create with the build id, as well as I have to mention the latest. Okay, because the tag id build id can change. Okay, but if I use this container image in my web app, uh, so id, if id change, it will be changed, right? So we have to mention the latest one, so that if any updated things will happen, so that the latest tag would be created, and that tag would be also applied in our Azure web app. Okay, so let me click on save it. Now we have to uh, build and okay, so it is just comment. It's up to you how what is the comment you want to save before running this pipeline. So let me click on save and run it, so that it will using the docker file. Okay, it will build the image uh, because you have created Azure pipeline to check that docker file, and once it check the docker file that is already mentioned to create the build image. Now it will build the image, and after that, as in the Azure pipeline, you have defined the destination would be Azure content registry, so that the defined repo would be created inside the content registry, and once build the image, it will push into the content registry. Then we can see that. Okay, so it is taking some time to build the image as for the docker file. Okay, once build the image through the Azure pipeline, it will check the destination and it will push it to the Azure content registry. The build is almost completed. Now it try to push it to the registry. Yeah, it has been completed. So now we can validate. Let me go to the repository. Yeah. So now we are able to see the repository here. Yeah. So thank you guys. I'll connect in the next session to apply this image on the top of the Azure web app. Okay. Thank you.